Writers, like many artists, leave a significant imprint. Words have power. They have impact. And in our community, we have a writer who has recently won the Idaho Writer in Resident Award, Christian Winn. And one of the things about Christian that I love is his ability to encourage writers at all levels. And I'm so excited and honored to have him here on the show. Christian, thanks for being here.
It's great to be here. This is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, so I wanted to just start off asking you, did you always know you wanted to be a writer? Were you always a writer?
You know, partially. I guess I was a pretty outdoorsy, kind of like sports-oriented kid. Not really a bookworm so much, but I definitely, from an early age, did start writing some poetry. I think poetry was probably the first
Define
genre.
early age.
I mean, I guess second, third grade.
Okay.
And I had a poem that was published in the local paper in California, where I grew up in the Bay Area, that I think one of my teachers or my mom put up, sort of gave them, but I had actually forgotten about it for years. And then my mom was like, remember that poem that you published in the newspaper? And then my junior high, sort of literary magazine at Jordan Junior High in Palo Alto published some of my stuff. But by the time I turned, I guess 20, 21, 22, sort of fell in love with the beats and with, sort of the expats in Paris in the 20s and sort of the Hemingway Fitzgerald sort of romantic, notion of being a writer.
Mm-hmm. So there are so many levels, I think, of being a writer, because there's a point when you finally consider yourself a writer. What is that
sometimes
point
I don't still. It's like, it's very, it's sort of like you're a fraud. You feel like it all the time.
Right.
By this point, at 48 years old, I've been doing this quite a long
Winning
time.
some pretty significant awards, having a published book, you finally can call yourself a writer.
Yes. I mean, I think, yes.
So and you're a teacher. I mean, I think one of the greatest gifts you instruct over at Boise State University is your approach, your method is really one of encouragement. And in the writing community, that's really not always the case. It can be pretty cutthroat and a harsh community to survive in just from feedback alone. But you take a different approach. Why is that?
Yeah, it's a combination. I mean, I try to be, critical in a way that will improve, the writing, but also encouraging in a way that it won't kill the, the desire. And that if you're really overcritical, I feel like you can really, like I said, kill that sort of desire in people, and that they won't write again. That
I
person
think
is
you
like patting on the back.
You nourish writers. I mean, I think it's good feedback, but from what I've seen, there's a balancing act, but you really nourish and nurture writers to become better.
I agree. And actually, just to, kind of piggyback on that a little bit, many Idaho folks know Anthony Doerr, who's won the Pulitzer Prize, and he was a professor of mine as a grad student when his first book was published. And and if you've ever met him, he's a very nice man and just like encouraging, but so smartly encouraging. And so I think that he was an early influence that way too. That was somebody I definitely took some, used as a model as I worked into my own teaching gigs. So.
Right, and you teach at BSU, you also teach at the Cabin, and you've brought with you today your book, Naked Me. Yep. I'm glad you didn't dress the part, but I'm curious.
Well, yes. That's for later.
We're family,
I don't know.
We're a family show. But tell me a little bit. I mean, the title is captivating. What's it about, in a sense? It's a collection of short stories.
It's a collection of short stories, and basically, the title story, it just seemed like the right one for the entire collection. The characters on the edge, kind of that naked blade of life, if you will, kind of people exposing themselves, not necessarily, physically all the time, though that happens a couple times in the book.
That rawness, yeah.
Yeah, but just, their spirits and their situations in life are such that they kind of stripped naked in a certain way, kind of symbolically at least. Mm-hmm. I had a couple of options, but the Naked Me seemed to sort of be like, I don't know, the one that fit, I think, the characters the best.
Right, so in all your writing, you probably have a great life lesson that you'd like to share, or a defining moment. Can you share that with us real quick?
It's a craft as much as an art, and I look back at when I wanted to be a writer, wanted to be Hemingway in 1924 or something like that, living in Paris and writing. So it's kind of a collective lesson. I had other great professors at the undergrad level in Seattle, and actually a residence advisor who was a writer and took a couple of my stories. He really just took them to task. He not in a cruel way, but he was like, you can cut this and cut this and cut this. And so that idea of like working your language So,
yeah. Thank you so much. And
thank you. Yeah, it was great.
congratulations on your recent
thanks,
award.
yeah,
I mean, that's awesome. And thank you for all you contribute to the writing community, sharing your
great.
passion. It's been really great.
Thanks so much.
Okay.